All right, as we move on to our next coach, the head coach of the Kennesaw State Owls, Bohannon. For any of those late joining us, we announced about 20 minutes ago the Big South A-Sun Conference Football Collaborative Members Partnership. They guarantee football home with the conference, Big South Conference. A-Sun members, current or future, that play scholarship football or sponsor scholarship football will become automatic members, associate members of the South. Commissioners of both joining us at 11:30 to talk about the details and other specifics on the agreement. Now let's welcome in the head coach of Bohannon, Kennesaw State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mark.
Owls got their first victory, 49-60 over points, to move to 1-1, heading out to your first road trip this weekend. That's next week. You're off. We can open up and talk about the victory, getting everything straightened out last Saturday. We'll talk about the open week and what's on score for the Owls.
Well, it's always good to win, and coming off a tough loss the week before, it was good to see our kids go out and play with a lot more focus and getting a W. And this day and age in college football, a W is a W any way you look at it. So I was proud of the way they approached the game. It was good to get a win. And, we got a little time here. It's got an early off week this year. We got a little time to regroup before we get into a really tough stretch as we get into conference play.
At this time, we'll start taking questions for Kennesaw State head coach Bohannon. To ask a question, press *1 on your phone at any time, or click the link to the top of the browser. Click raise hand if you point us to the Coach, while we wait for some questions to come in, we had some new folks we got to see this past Saturday. Quarterback Chandler Burke had a nice game, nice performance. Talk about his what he brings to the table, as well as backup quarterback Daniel David plays at Trey White.
Well, obviously pleased with the way Chandler played. He's a real cerebral kid, very smart, understands what we're doing. He's one of those not going to overwhelm me with his size or his speed or his arm, but boy, he just finds ways to make plays. He's always going to keep us in the right play. Did a great job of just executing the offense and took care of the ball, and that's really all we ask those guys to do, is take care of the football and execute the offense. Did a nice job of getting the ball distributed, especially throwing the football out to Justin Sumter and some of our wideouts. So he did a nice job. It was good to him get his first start and get a win. And then Daniel David came in and got some valuable playing time as a redshirt freshman. The kid's got a lot of ability, can run, can throw. He's just young, learning the system, but the only way to really get better sometimes is to get in the game and play a little bit. So excited to get to see those guys play, and we had a lot of other guys that had opportunity to get in the game as we're still a really young football team, so every rep is critical.
And Coach, with the early bye week, just the differences when they're usually later in the year after 5 or 6 games, just kind of what the focus will be this week for the group.
Well, what we're doing, and this is what we did about midway through the season last year, is we take Monday and Tuesday off from football. Our guys are actually out recruiting today. The coaches are recruiting today. We'll practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll take the weekend off, and then we'll come back Monday as we continue to prepare for Duquesne. And then we got a heck of a stretch after that. So we're trying to regroup a little bit. We had 5 starters out Saturday. We hope we can get most of them back. So it's going to be a long haul down the stretch, very competitive. And so we'll take a little time to regroup and then focus in on the next opponent and get ready to go.
All right. We'll now move to questions for Kennesaw State head coach Bohannon. Again, press *1 on your phone at any time, or click the link to the top of the browser. Click raise. Coach, first question for you is from Craig Haley of Stat.
Hey, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Craig. How you doing?
Real well, thank you. Your program is, right in the middle of the partnership that was announced today between the Big South and Atlantic Sun. Can you talk about it from the Kennesaw State perspective?
Well, I think the big thing is from a Kennesaw State perspective and a Big South perspective is the Big South is on the map from a football perspective. You look at what's happened in the past with Charleston Southern and Coastal and the exposure that's going on in this league, and to strengthen the membership in any way we can, to strengthen the membership, is only going to make the league better. And I think this is a huge step for the league. As now we're looking at the consolidation per se with the ASUN, and any football scholarship playing schools are going to be a part of the Big South. This is another way to strengthen the membership, create some stability for the league, and continue to put a footprint really nationally on what Big South football is about. So I think for us, it's as much as what is for us and for the league, because we're all in this thing together. Obviously, the ASUN, the rest of our sports are in the ASUN. So I think on both parties at Kennesaw State, this is a big deal. So it helps both sides at Kennesaw State, maybe versus some other schools. But I think it's a huge announcement. I think it's a huge deal, and I think it's great for us, great for the league.
Sure. Thank you, Coach.
Greg. Coach, we have another question for you. A team member based in Birmingham with a 205 area code. Do not have a name. Please introduce yourself before your question.
No, Coach, it's John from Marietta Daily Journal.
Oh, hey, John.
Hey, Craig kind of stole my thunder there. I wanted to get your perspective on that partnership, but second question I was going to have was I know that you briefly touched on the injuries. Just trying to get an update on where everybody is and how everybody's doing.
Well, as I told you after the game, I really believe of the 5 starters, we should have 4 of the 5 back. Trey's still questionable right now. The other 4, if they progress like we think, should be back for the game. So we're hopeful to be a little more at full force, come next Saturday. So it's really the same right now. We haven't done anything but mostly treatment. So as we get in the end of the week, we'll get a little better idea where these guys are. But the bye week's earlier than I would like, but as it turned out, it really came at a pretty good time.
Thanks.
John? Coach, I'm not seeing any more questions for you. We'll go ahead and let you go. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the week off. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark.